I'm India Nat and welcome to this month's masterclass, which is all about working together in defence. So we're hopefully going to see some very pretty things today and emphasise the teamwork aspect of defence. So the most important thing overall is to know what your job is on any particular hand. But there are a few different aspects to what your job might be. So first of all, you need to consider who should be playing which suit. Another thing to consider is who should be guarding which suit, which just means that when you're discarding, you might want to hold on to stops, even if they don't look like they're stops necessarily. And the final thing to think about is who knows more about what's happening on the hand. So perhaps, usually when you're defending, one person will know a bit more about what's going on. Maybe they've got the stronger hands, they have a better idea. First, let's look at who should be playing which suit. So this is all to do with the defensive principles from the July masterclass, but most specifically, it's about the one where you lead through strength and towards weakness. It does sometimes require some teamwork from you and your partner to get this right. So here's an example. Partner leads the 7 of diamonds, there's King, Jack, 9 in the dummy, and you have Ace, Queen, 10. And because dummy only played the 9, you get to win with your 10. However, with the king on your right, although you should be able to get 2 more diamond tricks, you're not going to get those if you're the one who plays the suit. Because if you play the ace, dummy can follow low, whereas if you play the queen, dummy can win with the king. So you need somebody else to be playing the suit for you, and it's probably not going to be Declarer. There's no real incentive for Declarer to play a diamond here. For him, it might look like they have a bit of a scary guess, who has the ace, who has the queen, or maybe from your partner's lead, he suspects that we have both. So he's a bit nervous about that suit in general. So instead, we're going to need to find a way to get our partner on lead, which will involve playing a different suit. Now let's have a look at the full hand, the kind of thing you would see at the table. So we've won with our 10 of diamonds, and now we have to decide what to do. Which suit should we switch to after we win with the 10 of diamonds? Well, there are 3 things to consider. Spades, of course. Safe, Declarer has the ace, king, queen, so it's not going to give anything away. However, it's pretty unproductive. It's not really going to achieve anything. There are certainly hands where you might want to do this, but here what we're trying to do is get our partner on lead so that they can play a diamond for us, and a spade's not going to do that. There are actually 2 reasons why a heart looks quite appealing. And one is that it's dummy's weak suit, so we're following the principle of through strength and towards weakness. And the other reason is that because we get to play the jack, we get to communicate what we have in hearts to our partner, so they'll be able to work out that we have the 10. And the final thing that you might have considered is a club. Obviously that's our longest suit, but if Declarer has the ace, we're just giving them their queen. If we're the ones who played the suit first, we don't get to play our king on this trick. If we did play the king on the trick, Declarer would be able to squash it and their queen would be a winner anyway. So there's no way of making sure that Declarer doesn't get a second club trick. So this teamwork, the best thing about it is that when it really works well, it can feel like a dance. So your partner plays a diamond through, goes 7, 9, 10, 2, win, and you play the jack of hearts, which Declarer is likely to duck on this layout. Then you try the 10 of hearts, top of your doubleton, and it goes king, ace, low. Now importantly, instead of just cashing his hearts, partner should be aware that because your 10 won the trick on trick 1, that he needs to be playing diamonds through the king, jack and the dummy. So he should actually be playing a diamond through. So 6 Jack Queen 3. And now, before you play a heart back, cash your ace of hearts to squash the king. And if you do that, you should be in a nice position where now, when you play your final heart to partner's hand, he wins the queen, and his 2 8s, funnily enough, are now winners. His 8 of hearts and his 8 of diamonds are now length winners. So there was a bit of toing and froing here, but it feels really satisfying. The second aspect is who should be guarding which suit. So a good principle to keep in mind is keep length with dummy. So here's an auction. It goes 1 no trumps, Damon, no 4-card major, 3 no trumps. Dummy has ace, king, queen 2 in spades, and we have 10, 5, 4, 3. So in theory, we don't have a spade stop because, we expect the jack accompanied by 3 cards to be a stop. But in practice, a lot of the time we will have, as long as declarer doesn't have the jack. Our 10 will be big enough to cover the 2. So think about it this way, and it will help you visualize what's going on the hand. So you and dummy each have 4 spades, and you know that declarer has 2 or 3, which means that your partner also has, 3 or 2, depending on what declarer has. So you are the only person who can keep that 4th round of spades secure. That's your job. It's not up to your partner to keep spades. It's up to you. So as long as dummy still has that 4th spade, you need to keep your 4th spade. So keeping length with dummy doesn't apply if dummy throws away the 2 of spades. You don't have to keep original length, you keep current length. Now let's make things a little bit harder. So who should be guarding which suit, but when we're keeping length with declarer? So this is a lot more difficult because you can't see declarer's hand. You can only see dummies. So we have a similar auction, 1 no trump, Damon, 2 spades by declarer, saying I have 4 spades, 3 no trumps, there they are. So dummy just has 3 spades this time. And you might be looking at this spade holder and thinking, I don't really have a stop. What's the point in keeping them? But you have to remember that bidding has told you that declarer has 4 spades, which means that dummy has 3 and partner only has 2. So you need to hold on to your spades to protect that 4th round that your partner can't protect. So that's your job. And again, you keep your 4th spade for as long as declarer keeps his. If declarer discards a spade, then it becomes safe to discard one yourself. But obviously it's a little bit harder when you can't see that hand. And the final principle, which is to do with guarding suits, is about trusting your partner. So in the same sort of scenario, this time, where declarer has shown 4 spades, here we have what looks like a normal stop, queen to 3. But we now know that our partner and declarer are the ones who have 4 spades. Because we only have 3, dummy only has 2. We know that declarer has 4, so partner has 4. So in that case, it becomes our partner's job to protect the spades. But obviously, your queen might be a trick. You might need to hold on to it. So you don't want to go throwing it away willy-nilly. The point here is that you can't guard the 4th round. So in situations where declarer does put pressure on you to discard, if you're in a position where you absolutely know from what you can see in the dummy that you can't give up on a different suit, maybe it should be the spades that you abandon, because you need to be able to trust your partner to keep that 4th round of spades. Finally, think about who knows more about what's happening on the hands. This is another sort of visualization exercise. First thing to consider, when you see the dummy, how strong do you think your partner is compared to you? So on this example, The opponents have bid 1 diamond and then 3 no trumps. So we know that the opponents have 25 points between them. We can see these points available here. So we can see 12, 13 and 14 in our own hand. And with 39 points in total between those 3 hands that we know about at least, that gives partner at most 1. But in fact we have a little bit more information because our partner has led the Jack of Spades. So we now know that the Jack of Spades is partner's only point. He has at most 1 point. So we can't rely on partner to have any more honours. And we are therefore in charge of what's going on in the defence. We are the one who's going to be winning the tricks, and we have to figure out a way to take as many tricks as possible, knowing that partner has no more honours, although of course we know that partner has the 10 of spades, which might be helpful information. But it's good to do these sorts of calculations right at the beginning of the hand, because it means that it can dictate what you do later. You don't want to get halfway through the hand and suddenly think, is it possible for my partner to have, let's say, the King of Hearts? Well, no, not on this occasion. Declarer is going to have that one, so how are you going to engineer those tricks? Another thing to think about in terms of who knows more is that when you see the dummy, if you have knowledge that maybe your partner doesn't have, how might that affect your play? And this is best thought about with an example, really. So it goes 1 spade, 1 no trump, 2 spades, and this is the dummy. Partner leads the King of Hearts, looks like a normal sequence lead, and we're looking at this dummy and we think, I also have quite good hearts. So knowing that partner has a strong sequence in hearts means that declarer is probably going to have to find other ways to get rid of any heart losers. The other problem we have is that the short trump holding is in the same hand as the short hearts. So there's a risk that declarer might be able to ruff a heart with that short trump holding. So it starts to look like it's quite important to be switching to a trump. However, we have to think about how that might affect our play. We know that it's right to switch to a trump. Maybe partner even knows that it's right to switch to a trump. But what if it's not safe for partner to switch to a trump? We can do the same sorts of calculations we did before. There are 8 points in the dummy, something like 12 to 15 in declarer's hand. So that's going to leave about 20 to 23 points. And then we know that we have 9. So that's 29 to 32. So partner has like 8 to 11 points. We know about 5 of them. We can see that there are quite a lot of points in the minors in the dummy. It could well be that partner has a trump trick, or maybe a delicate trump holding where the honours need to be protected. And therefore maybe we're the ones who need to be playing the spade suit. So to that end, probably what is the right thing to do here is to overtake the king with the ace and shoot a trump back across the table. So we have a strong idea about how the defense is supposed to go. We know that maybe partner knows that, but won't be able to safely play to our hand. Because if we let partner just win the King of Hearts and play another heart, dummy is already void, so declarer can make sure they get that ruff. Whereas we want to play trumps before that second round of hearts goes. Well, there's a lot to absorb here, but if you feel like you've got it, then head over to the deals, play the tournament and see how you get on. And I'll see you after you've played the hands, and you can have a look at those videos and see whether you've got the defense right. Good luck, everyone. I'll see you over there. Bye.